Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. You know, people who gamble on sports are always looking for that edge, whether it be by looking at the injury reports, home field records, weather conditions, anything that could give them a little advantage. Our guest this week is taking that to a whole new level. His name is Simon Chokwisky, and he wrote the book called Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. And you can imagine from the title of the book, he uses astrology and star charts to help determine the outcome of a game. And you know what? He's really good at it. And he's going to go through all his methods of picking the right team at the right time, all according to the stars in the sky. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
The IRS has collected over $1 billion in past due taxes this year, and they're aggressively targeting more taxpayers. Don't wait until the IRS comes knocking. Our team is here to help you resolve your tax debts before things escalate. Every tax situation is unique, and so is our approach. We tailor solutions to fit your specific needs, giving you the personalized attention you deserve. The IRS has resumed collection enforcement. Don't wait until it's too late. Our team can help you resolve your tax issues before liens, levies, or passport restrictions kick in. Behind on filing taxes? We specialize in getting you back on track by filing past returns and negotiating with the IRS. Does the IRS claim that you owe money that you don't have? We fight to lower your tax debt to an amount that you can afford. United Tax Fix. Expert help, personalized service, and the peace of mind you deserve.
Call 800-852-6985. That's 800-852-6985.
Hey, this is Dave Weishaupt from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of March 3rd, 2025. Flamingo Las Vegas introduced their multi-pool complex called the Go Pool. The $20 million project will span 1.5 acres and offer 5 distinct pools, a 30-seat swim-up bar, 33 VIP cabanas, waterfalls, and a new food and drink menu. The Go Pool is at the south entrance of the Flamingo Las Vegas and will be open this spring. BetMGM announced the launch of the Gretzky Light the Lamp online slot game. The game is a 25-line 5x3 slot game with a hockey theme and features NHL legend Wayne Gretzky wearing a gold and black jersey with the BetMGM logo on it. The new Gretzky Light the Lamp online slot game is now available online at the BetMGM Casino in New Jersey and Michigan with additional markets to follow. And finally, if you're in Vegas, stop by MGM Grand Hotel and Casino and have something to eat at Netflix Bites. Netflix Bites Vegas started their one-year culinary residency and combines Netflix storytelling with MGM's famous hospitality. This unique dining experience offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner with each menu item inspired by Netflix shows and movies. Sounds like fun. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on X at HOC Radio.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you here. You know, here at the show, we get a lot of interesting books written by a lot of interesting people. For me, this is one of the more fascinating books I've read. The writer is Simon Chokwisky, and the book is Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. And we are lucky enough to have Simon on the phone with us right now. Simon, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, great. Our pleasure. Just for some background for people out there who are not familiar with it, what is Vedic astrology?
Well, it's just what it sounds like. It's a type of astrology that's mainly practiced in India, and typically it was just for the kings and queens in the old days to help them figure out when is the best time to go into battle, when is the best time to get married. And, one unique thing we as gamblers understand is that timing is very important. You have good days, you have bad days, you have good weeks, good years, and bad years sometimes. And in the old days, people used to wonder, why does that happen? Why is it that sometimes someone who is much less skilled than I am can beat me, and on some days, I can take on the world, whether it's at cards or whatever your pursuit. And so they figured out that there was some correlation between what's happening up in the heavens and whether you were having a good day or not. And so that's Vedic astrology. It's the astrology of ancient India that was used to time major events.
You touch on something that I want to ask you. These techniques you say have been used for thousands of years and in every country of the world. Are you surprised that more people haven't used these techniques with regard to sports and betting?
Yes and no. So in the old days, any science like this or art or superstition, whatever you want to call it, it wouldn't survive until this day if it didn't have some usefulness, some effectiveness. So as I said, in the old days, both in the West and the East, every king, every important person, I should say, had a consultant. Just as today we have financial consultants, we have consultants, real estate agents. Well, there were astrologers. And so they would ask their astrologers, hey, when should I do this? Or is this a good person to be in business with? And if they were wrong, typically what happened was, especially if you're a king, you didn't fire them. You actually banished them. They were done. Their career was over. Or at worst case scenario, they got their head cut off. So if the stuff didn't work, astrology would have disappeared a long time ago. Now, the problem is that it's a complex science, and there are a lot of charlatans out there, and a lot of knuckleheads like me who, get it wrong and miss stuff, and but we still try our best. Mm-hmm. So I think I understand why it's not used today, because it's very difficult. And another thing is, in the old days, the best minds, like the best mathematicians, the most brilliant scientists, they were doing astrology, the Albert Einsteins of the world. Whereas today, there are many more things that brilliant minds can do. They can go into science. They can go into, building rockets and so on. So we've got more average minds doing astrology, and as a result, it's maybe gone down. Mm-hmm. And so that doesn't surprise me.
When you're talking about sports, what are some of the aspects of a game or a team that you look at when using astrology in sports betting?
A sport is a contest. It's a battle. It's a win or a loss. It's black and white. Well, sometimes there's a tie. And more fundamentally, a contest is a space-time event. That means it begins at a particular place at a particular time. And then it has a lifespan. It lasts an hour or two, or if it's baseball, it can last forever, theoretically. But and then typically it has an ending, just like a human being. So if astrology can be applied to a human being, we're also space-time events. We're born in a certain place in a certain time. We have a lifespan, and then, we expire. So it's the same thing. A sporting contest is just like a human being. And if it works for human beings to be able to tell you, hey, you're going to be successful, you're going to do well, or you're not, then it should work for telling us whether the home team or the favorite team should win. So it's just like a battle, except these days the battles happen on the gridiron more often than on the battlefield.
What's intriguing about the book is how you bring the reader along during the process of creating a chart for a particular team or game. And at the start of this process is something called Dharma or Dharma types. What is that, and why is that so important when creating your charts?
Well, and I hate to get philosophical here, but Dharma is your right path. It's your purpose in life. It's your calling. And if it's not your calling to be a speculator, to be a gambler, to be in this field, then my contention is no matter how good you get at techniques, no matter how much you study, it's not really the right thing for you, and you should know that before you get into it. My mentor taught me that the astrologer's job is to put themselves out of business. That means that you take a client and you teach them, you help them find their purpose in life. You help them find their calling. And when you do that, then they don't need you anymore. Your job is done, right? And I've said this before, where I think that's also a doctor's job, traditionally, to take a client, teach them good health, how to eat, how to take care of their body, so that they don't need the doctor anymore. That's a utopian kind of world. But when it comes to gambling, I'm sure you've seen people like this who are well-intentioned, they study, but they're just not, somehow it's not for them. Mm-hmm. And this goes for everything. For boxing, people try to be boxers, but they're just not. And so my job, first of all, is to find out, is speculation right for you? Is it in the stars for you, if you will? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So,
and we start from there. And some people from very early on, they know that's their path, and that's great. And then my job is to help them get better, to help them find the better times to go to the casino, the better times to enter that tournament. But we know that they're in alignment. Mm-hmm. And so that's what that chapter is about.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-733-6860. 800-733-6860.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you. For those of you just joining us, we are talking with Simon Chalkwisky, who has written a very interesting book called Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. And another term you use when analyzing a game is something called victory houses. Now, how does the idea of victory houses relate to your analysis?
So in astrology, there's something called houses of the horoscope. There are 12 houses, and each team gets 6 houses that are good for victory, and another 6 that are not good. So it's very simple. When the planets are in the house, in the victory, what I call the victory houses, that's my term, by the way, for one team, and they're not and by extension, they're not for the other team, then it shows which team is stronger. Mm-hmm. It's pretty straightforward.
By the way, it's a great term because when I saw victory houses, okay, I need to know this if I'm going to win at sports betting using astrology. I see the word victory and I'm attracted to it.
Well, I got to tell you, I appreciate you saying that, because when I took this on, my wife and everybody said, who are you writing this book for? There's only so many astrologers and there's only so many people who bet, and you're writing it for these niches. And I said, you know what? There's something in my heart that's just driving me to do this. And so there it is. So I'm very heartened that you're taking this to heart yourself.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things. It's ancient wisdom that's been around for so long, and it's been used around the world. And it's just, I'm surprised that more people aren't embracing this it's from our ancestors, really.
Well, I'll tell you, in the 60s, there was an astrologer in India. His name was Krishnamurti. Mm-hmm. And he got so good to where he had a line around his house like people were trying to buy an iPhone. Like people would camp out for 2 or 3 days, and the line would stretch around the neighborhood a couple of times. And part of the reason how he got so good was he would play cards. And he would test his techniques by playing cards, and he'd see which times, and he was a decent card player, but, he wasn't the best. Mm-hmm. And he would play during times that were good for him, and then he would have his son, so he'd calculate this beforehand, and he'd have his son call him as soon as the time turned bad to give him an excuse to leave the table. I know that's a crummy thing to do, but, he was testing this. And so, like at 12:31, his son would call and he'd say, "Oh, sorry guys, I got to take my chips and take off." And he got so good that people wouldn't play with him anymore. So he had to start losing on purpose. Mm-hmm. And this is a true story, by the way. This you can verify this yourself. His name was Krishnamurti, and he developed a system to where he could time even down to the hour, which period is favorable for you, which period isn't. And I'm not as good as I study his system and I try to follow along, but there are brilliant people like that who have got this stuff down really to a science. So yeah, I'm surprised too, but also it's very difficult. Like I said, it was only the best minds in the old days who would do this stuff, and these days, not so much.
For those of you just joining us, we are talking with Simon Chalkwisky, who has written a very interesting book called Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. Okay, now we understand the terms Dharma types, and we get the concept of victory houses. As I said, it's a process. What is your next step when trying to determine the outcome of a game using Vedic astrology?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in the book, there are a total of 9 techniques. And so the victory houses is one technique, and that's how I first sort of got into it. But the victory houses move very slowly. So basically any game that starts within an hour or so is going to have the same configuration. And so the victory house technique was working a lot, but it was also not working some of the time. And I thought, why isn't it working? And so there are more discrete techniques that depend on an exact start time. And when I gave predictions last week, I noted that if this game starts within a couple of minutes of when it's supposed to, then we expect this outcome. And the more I did this, the more I found that even seconds can make a difference. And so timing, again, back to this idea that timing is everything. And if you begin playing, or if a game begins at a certain time, a certain outcome is expected. But if it begins a minute later, that outcome could be 180. It can be totally different. It could be for the other team.
How much of a change?
So I figured out some techniques to figure that out.
How much of a change in time is if it happens within an hour, it's pretty much the same, or can it be changed from minute to minute, or how is that determined?
Honestly, it's from minute to minute. And as I mentioned earlier, the most recent example of this was a Cleveland-New York game, baseball, last game. of their series, where, in my opinion, if that game had started 1 minute earlier, so if you're the manager and you know that you're supposed to start within this time, that Cleveland would have won, not New York. And by the way, this isn't, I know this sounds crazy and radical, but we spent 8 years under the Reagan administration having his astrologer time absolutely every meeting, every, airplane takeoff and landing according to this principle. And his assistant even had a stopwatch, and he cued Reagan when it was time to begin a press conference, when it was time to begin a meeting. And his whole presidency ran according to this principle. So a very conservative man, but yet someone who understood, or at least went along with, this principle that to everything, if you want to succeed at something, starting at the right time really gives you a leg up.
It's amazing.
So sometimes it's even minutes and seconds.
It's amazing how precise that is when you're talking about time, how 1 minute can change an outcome of something so important.
Well, and it's hard to believe because you'll never know, right?
Yeah.
You'll never know if it's if what the other outcome would have been, except that I've tracked games that have begun at very similar times, maybe a minute apart, and the chart is just different by a minute, and the outcome is the opposite. So I actually have, I have thousands of charts that I've looked at, and I have that data. And this speaks to the question of when most scientists think about astrology and they debunk it, they go, well, look at twins. Sometimes twins lead radically different lives, but they were born just minutes apart. And it's true. They're right. And so sometimes minutes can make a difference, and sometimes twins lead very similar lives. Mm-hmm. And in that case, it didn't make a difference. Mm-hmm. But
I guess connected with time is also the location of a sporting event. How much emphasis do you put on the home team versus the visitor when you're creating your chart?
Right. Well, it's 10:45 where I am, and it's before noon. But if you were in Tokyo, it would be night, right? So location is very much linked with time, and as Einstein taught us, space and time are really the same thing. And that's why we call it space-time. So location and time are the two components that are the most important. So yes, absolutely, you need an accurate location for a correct horoscope and an accurate start time.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side. Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand. Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
With costs going up, Adam & Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Your Majesty, the royal wrestlers await.
I'll bet on the little guy. How much? 3,000 guineas, 2 geese, and a duck. That's a foul bet.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishaupt with you. For those of you just joining us, we are talking with Simon Chalkwisky, who has written a very interesting book called Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. You know, we talked about this with regard to location. We do another show, Turnpike Sports, and you gave some amazing predictions. I mean, I benefited from one of your predictions, by the way. Thank you, Seattle, and thank you, Simon.
Awesome, Dave. That's great.
Yeah, there you go. But when you talk about location, and we talked at another time, you mentioned individual players will perform differently depending on when and where they play. And this led us to be thinking, would it be beneficial for an athlete or a team to consult an astrologer before he signs with a particular team? Do you know of any athletes who actually consulted with astrologers before joining a team?
That is a great question. No, I personally don't. I work with, I don't work with the kings and queens in the world typically, although I've seen a couple of Hollywood, celebrities and whatnot, but typically I work with mom and pop, clients. But in my opinion, the $100 or whatever you spend to consult with an astrologer before making a, multi-million-dollar move or trade is worth it. I mean, it's well worth it. Because, yes, different locations will affect you. So I think even in playing cards, if you go to a tournament in Vegas and, you do well, you may go to a tournament in Jersey or somewhere else and just stink up the room. And part of that could be related to, it may not be, but it's possible that it's related to the fact that in Jersey, you just have bad lines. You've got bad stuff going on there, bad juju for you, so that you don't do as well. And we can identify that.
Oh, great. I'm in Jersey. I feel terrible now.
No. I mean, it's individual. So
I know.
You get it. By the way, anyone can do this for themselves. There's a site you can go to. I don't know if it's okay to refer. It's not my site. This is a general site, so it's not a plug. It's a site called astro.com. You go to free horoscopes, and then you click on AstroClick Travel, because typically we use this to figure out where people can travel and have a good time and where, areas they should avoid. Click on that, enter your data, and then you'll see all of your lines across the globe. And then anywhere you click, it'll interpret it for you, and it'll tell you, hey, this place is great for business, this place is great for relationships. Like, just a really quick example, I have a client, or I had a client, and her Venus line went through Portland, Maine. And I said, look, Portland, Maine is great for love for you. And she started laughing. I said, why are you laughing? She said, my husband's from Portland, Maine.
Wow.
And she had never been there. But her husband, love, had come to her from Portland, Maine. And likewise, where you have a Jupiter line is where you're lucky. So when it comes to gambling, you want to look to where your Jupiter line is. Mm-hmm. And so when you find that, go to those places, try it out, see what happens. I've done it. For me, it's through Puerto Rico. And years ago, when I landed in Puerto Rico, I didn't speak Spanish, nothing. And this is a true story. I was on the street corner, and I didn't have any car or anything. There was this guy on a motorcycle. I tapped him on the shoulder. It was a red light. I said, how much you want for that bike? He said, $800. I pulled it out, paid him. He got off the bike, gave me his helmet, and gave me the little thing, the registration. I got on the bike. By the time the light turned green, I was off.
Wow. And
stuff like that happened for me over there like crazy. Like, I would knock on a door and people would say, come in, we've been waiting for you. We need, I was a physical trainer at the time. We need somebody to help us run the gym. Intercontinental Hotel, I became the manager. Like that.
Wow, boy.
So where your Jupiter line is where you tend to be lucky. And you can find that. It's very easy. It's not difficult. Any of your listeners can find it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing story. I never read a book like the one you've written, Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology. and that uses astrology and its technique for sports betting. I gotta ask you, has this book been well received in the astrology world? Have there been astrologers saying, hey, you shouldn't be using our techniques for gambling purposes, or has it been well received within the industry?
There's a small percentage of astrologers who are a little bit above it all and a little bit high and mighty, and actually I understand where they're coming from, because this is a spiritual science. It's meant to empower people, right? And they have this association that speculation is somehow disempowering. And like I said at the beginning, it can be. If it's not your calling, it can be. You can lose your house, in your mortgage. But it's also gotten some great reviews from some professional astrology magazines. So yes, generally speaking, it's been well received.
Well, we're running out of time, and I want to thank you, Simon, for coming on and discussing this very interesting book you've written. The name of the book is Gambler's Dharma, Sports Betting with Vedic Astrology by Simon Chalkwisky. And check out his website at spirittype.com. Simon, thanks for coming on.
It's been my pleasure, guys. Take care.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards. Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand. Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Welcome to another edition of Beating the House. I'm Doug Weisshadow here with Dave Weisshadow. We're going to be crisscrossing the country, sometimes the continent, sometimes even the world, talking about the latest jackpots in the casino and lottery industries. If it's $100,000 or more, we will be talking about it on this show. Jackpots, news releases, game announcements, info at turnpikesportsradio.com. Send those on in, and we'll include them into the mix for upcoming shows.
Well, I'm noticing, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I'm noticing that the studio has some St. Patrick's Day decorations, which, we're doing this show about, big wins and slots and lottery and, table games and whatever. I'm thinking, now when I log into my online casinos in New Jersey, I'm going to see a lot of St. Patrick's Day themed games, I'm assuming. Lots of leprechauns, lots of shamrocks, lots of pots of gold, I guess. So I guess that's what I should expect when I log on.
Yes, and I was going to be doing a couple games in the next episode.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll have a little survey.
See,
of
a little
different
tease
games.
there. I didn't even know you were doing that. And,
I didn't do it for this week. I figured let me just do a couple for the following week.
So.
But we do have some news stories to talk about.
Okay.
We've got two news stories, one from Aristocrat Gaming, and the other a world record just being set.
World record, huh?
Yes.
World record jackpot kind of thing?
No, no jackpots involved.
No, okay. A world record for casinos and
yes. I'll get to
casinos.
it. Let me do the Aristocrat Gaming news story first.
Boy.
Yes, we're going to do Aristocrat Gaming. They just released a brand new NFL slot under their NFL slot franchise that they have with the National Football League.
Okay.
We've been doing these all along. As soon as they announce them, we talk about them. And this is the newest game, the NFL Triple Score.
Okay.
It's in a brand new portrait. It's in the Mars X portrait cabinet, which is a little bit bigger than a lot of the other ones that they're in.
So
the
look
other
for
NFL
a
slots.
really big slot.
Not a huge, not overly huge, but enough that you can actually see it from a distance.
The name of that cabinet sounds huge. Mars X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like some kind of space shot.
I know.
But we've got the NFL Triple Score multi-denomination line games. It looks similar to what the other NFL slot families are because you get to pick your own team to play in.
Okay.
And it's got a couple new features where you can actually split jackpots or jackpot symbols to increase the volatility of the slots, according to the press releases.
They use the word volatility?
They use the word volatility.
Okay.
Here, I'll read
not
exactly.
Not a real big marketing word, but I guess it really gets the message across.
The NFL Triple Score is a multi-denom lines game with medium volatility
and
medium feature frequency. Basically, a lot of the bonuses, a lot of the wilds, a lot of the different connectors pop up a lot.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's not a huge payout, but this is similar to what the Buffalo Ultimate Stampede games are. If you're familiar with
huge
the
payouts,
if you're familiar with the Buffalo Ultimate Stampede one, which is one of the newer ones, it's lower amounts of payouts, but more frequent payouts.
Okay,
so that's kind of what they're doing there.
Unless you hit the real big one, and then it's all
yeah.
Then you just get money poured on you,
and then they have this new feature called the Jackpot Kick.
All right.
It's a bonus feature where you actually just pick footballs that uncover prizes or other additional spins or other jackpots in the thing. So
I guess it's a good
game.
time. I guess did they release it before the Super Bowl or it's get released now?
It came out right around the Super Bowl.
Okay, which is a good time to do it. And you know what? Right now, there's no football.
Nope.
You're kind of
already missing football.
Yeah, I'm kind of missing. I mean, I was like, what am I going to do next Sunday or something like that? So it's one of those things where, it's probably a good time. It gets you, it gets your football and NFL fix in with, the slot machines.
Yeah, you got the period between the Super Bowl, the Combine, and the Draft.
Okay.
So there's a whole family of NFL slots by Aristocrat, and they're all fun to play.
Yep.
Now, the other story that we were just talking about was the world record.
Okay.
And this is not a jackpot. This is not really anything to do with money. It has everything to do with visiting 110 casinos in a 24-hour period.
Wow.
A Dutch couple.
All right.
I'm going to mispronounce this person's name, Armin Meyer and Dominique van der Geer, put their names into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Wow, that's an interesting... Armin Meyer.
Yeah,
Meyer?
or Meyer.
Meyer. And Dominique van der Geer.
Yes.
Dominique van
der Geer. 110 casinos, 24 hours.
So how... Nevada? Is that where they
went to Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
Designated period to try and beat it. The previous world record was 74 visited in 24 hours.
Oh, so they smashed it.
With 5 hours to spare.
You had 110 casinos.
They did it with 5 hours to spare.
So what was the criteria? I know visiting a casino, does that mean just walking onto the gaming floor? Does that mean playing one spin of a slot? Because, if you do that many casinos in 24 hours, you don't have a lot of time to spend on the gaming floor or in a casino.
Criteria had to be within 24 hours, number one.
Okay.
Number two, they had to play at least one table game.
Oh, okay.
Yep, in each venue for it to be counted.
All right.
And actually provided a record of it, too.
Okay, so there wasn't someone from the World Record Society following them along.
No. But they did. Here's what they've done. They did.
So what did they provide as a record? I guess they
walked into casinos, threw down their $5 bets.
Okay.
Hit their buttons on the table games or slots or whatever. They were doing everything. They
were playing everything. They had to play a table game, right?
That's what the at least one table game. They did other things too.
How do you do it?
There's two people. There's two people. One threw $5 in there. One threw.
So both of them did not have to play a table game.
Right. Just had to play one table game. They threw their $5 in, hit their buttons, grabbed their vouchers, took a photo of it.
Okay.
And then went to the next step.
Okay.
Now, according to the report. And it was kind of interesting. They had a team with them. They had a driver who just waited outside as soon as they ran in. They came back out, jumped in the car next to the next place.
Okay.
There were supposedly other people involved in this in terms of transportation. Mm-hmm. There was a reference to a helicopter. I don't know if they actually had that, but they...
Wait. What was the reference to a helicopter?
They had a helicopter pilot with them.
Oh, they had a helicopter pilot with them. They didn't have a helicopter.
They didn't say whether or not they used a helicopter, but they had a helicopter pilot with them.
Interesting.
So I don't know if they actually used it.
I would think something like this would have to be planned out.
They did plan it out.
They, at the very least, you have to have a map or some kind of, logical progression.
Yeah,
so that has to be mapped out. So I mean.
They did it.
Did they do it in Vegas and in Reno or
They just did Vegas, Las Vegas venues.
Oh, okay. I guess
there's a lot.
I'm surprised this isn't done more. If you're getting a lot of.
What's more impressive?
Because
they did it with 5 hours to spare.
I know that is impressive, but
they did it in 19 hours, not 24. So
first of all, I didn't even know there was a world record of this type.
There's a world record for everything.
I guess so. Yeah, but I'm just thinking.
Just ask South Park.
I would guess Vegas would be the place to do it because it's the biggest.
Yeah.
conglomeration of casinos in the world almost. So
and in terms of what they spent at the casinos, they spent $1,100 at the casinos and won about $600. So congratulations on the new world record.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could actually do that.
You could do it in Vegas, I would guess.
No, I mean, I don't know if I could do that.
It'd be tough. Well, you know what? I would bet you when they're in the swing of this thing,
the
adrenaline's pumping, and, we got a shot to do this, especially when they got closer to the record. And I love the fact that, like I said, it was planned out. I mean, they had, a support staff.
Yeah.
They had a driver and
whatever
stuff
they
like
had,
that.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
No
word on what the original record holders had. I think they just did it by themselves. I don't think they planned it out where they had a crew with them.
I'm curious. I got to look back at the old record. How long ago was this done? You would think like people would be trying this every year or something.
I'm sure people have been trying it every year,
but look, I mean, something like this takes planning, and good for them. They mapped it out, and they thought about it, and it was well thought out, and they earned the world record. Good for them.
Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
The IRS has collected over $1 billion in past due taxes this year, and they're aggressively targeting more taxpayers. Don't wait until the IRS comes knocking. Our team is here to help you resolve your tax debts before things escalate. Every tax situation is unique, and so is our approach. We tailor solutions to fit your specific needs, giving you the personalized attention you deserve. The IRS has resumed collection enforcement. Don't wait until it's too late. Our team can help you resolve your tax issues before liens, levies, or passport restrictions kick in. Behind on filing taxes? We specialize in getting you back on track by filing past returns and negotiating with the IRS. Does the IRS claim that you owe money that you don't have? We fight to lower your tax debt to an amount that you can afford. United Tax Fix. Expert help, personalized service, and the peace of mind you deserve.
Call 800-852-6985. That's 800-852-6985.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Welcome back to Beating the House. This is Doug Weishuttle here with Dave Weishuttle. We're continuing our crisscrossing of the country, talking about the jackpots that have gone on in the casino and lottery industry over the past week. Again, $100,000 or more, and now back to our program here. Starting off our jackpots, we're going to stay in Nevada. We just finished talking about a world record being set in Las Vegas, the number of places within 24 hours. We're going to stay in Nevada. We're going to stay in Las Vegas. We're going to the Bellagio.
I wonder if that was one of the casinos they hit. It must have been, right?
Yeah.
I would think.
They didn't hit this, though.
No. Well, they didn't hit the jackpot, but I would guess they would have to hit Bellagio if you're doing that many in Vegas. So.
But you've got a $5 spin, Wheel of Fortune, Gold Spin, Deluxe, Triple Stars. IGT's coming up with longer and longer names for these games.
Well, you have to. I mean, first off, you know how many Wheel of Fortune slot machines there are? How many varieties there are? In New Jersey, there's an online Wheel of Fortune casino, so there has to be a ton of variations.
You want to see a really interesting site? Go to IGTjackpots.com.
Okay.
Which lists out just the individual jackpots as they're occurring.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From IGT machines.
Oh, okay.
Kind of an interesting website, but we have the $5 spin, Wheel of Fortune Gold Spin, Deluxe Triple Stars at the Bellagio. Winner chose to remain anonymous because they won $1,252,886.37.
A lot of people win on those Wheel of Fortune machines, so, good for them.
We're going to be leaving Nevada now, finally. After
good for him or her. I'm
good
thinking,
for them.
I'm thinking in terms of teams now. You got me thinking about the 110 casinos visited. I was like, oh, okay, they're teams. But no, this individual player won this one.
We'll say good for them.
Good for them.
So. Leaving Nevada, we're heading over to California. As a matter of fact, we're heading over to Coors Gold, California.
Okay, where?
Coors Gold, California.
Coors Gold, California.
Chukchansi Gold Resort and Casino. We've got another slot jackpot here to talk about. We've got a Light and Wonder slot.
Okay.
And a Chukchansi Gold Rewards Club member. They have their own Gold Rewards member loyalty program there.
Every casino does.
Exactly.
You can't have a casino without a royalty program all of a sudden. So yeah.
But this we every so often we see one of these, a Light and Wonder Frankenstein machine.
Oh, okay, yeah. We just did a story on the Dracula slot machine.
That looks pretty cool.
I guess the next line in Universal Monster movies, or I don't even know what the technical
Universal Monsters.
Universal Monster series. So it's
from Light and Wonder.
This one's Frankenstein.
This is Frankenstein.
Dracula's coming out, or it might be out already.
That's all we know so far. We don't know what the next one's going to be. You got to assume it's going to be Wolfman.
It's got or Mummy, or what's the Universal Monsters?
Yeah, that's basically the 4 right there.
Oh, there's only going to be 4. Okay. I'm trying to think
they're the major ones. I mean, you got a Creature from the Black Lagoon. You've got
see now,
that's really it. I mean, you got Invisible Man, but how do you do a slot with an invisible guy?
Right. So
I think it's either going to be Mummy or Wolfman. They're the only 2 left you can actually do some really cool stuff with.
I don't know.
But we've got a $3 bet on the Frankenstein slot machine that paid out $771,688.89.
Wow. Okay, good.
So congratulations there. And that is basically one of the first jackpots hit on the Frankenstein machine because it was just a recent addition to the casino floor there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
it was a good addition.
Exactly. Leaving California, we're going to Durant, Oklahoma for Choctaw Casinos.
All right.
This is another slot win. We've got the Whitney Houston slots.
I saw that in where was I?
It's everywhere now.
Yeah,
I know it's in Hard Rock. It's in Hard Rock.
Hard Rock in Atlantic City. Yeah,
that makes sense. That Hard Rock would carry a music-themed slot machine. Whitney Houston,
and she's also from New Jersey,
also from New Jersey. Well, it's everywhere. So this is in Durant, Oklahoma. We've got N-O-E. That's the person's name.
No, okay.
Won the platinum jackpot on the Whitney Houston slots. That's one of the bonus features. $721,254.44 being won.
Okay, wow, great.
Leaving Oklahoma, we're going back to Nevada. We're going back to Las Vegas. We've got Harrah's Las Vegas. Got a table game.
Okay.
I think it's the first table game of the day right now. We've got a 3-card poker jackpot. Caesar's Reward member was out visiting his friends for his birthday, played 20 minutes at 3-card poker, hit the mega progressive jackpot for $313,064. So great job for 20 minutes worth of work.
Absolutely.
Moving from Nevada, we're going out to Michigan. Actually, it's going to be a combination of 2 states here because we got 4 Winds casinos. We've got 3 jackpots from the 4 Winds casinos. They are in Michigan and Indiana, but 2 are in Michigan.
Okay.
So I'm calling it Michigan.
All right.
We got the Pokagon Band of Potawatomi's 4 Winds casinos paying out 3 jackpots. Like I said, 2 table games, 1 slot jackpot. Going over to 4 Winds New Buffalo. Not Buffalo, New York. New Buffalo is in Michigan.
Michigan, okay.
We've got a $5 wager on the table game Progressive 21 plus 3 / top 3 table game. That's the name of the game. I did not invent the game. I did not name it.
All right. Hey, obviously it's a great game. It pays off. So how much did someone win there?
$5 bet, $158,319 jackpot.
All right.
Moving over to the 4 Winds South Bend, which is in Indiana, obviously. We've got a $3.52 bet. That had to have been something on the slip.
Yeah, I got my last card or last ticket kind of
exactly.
stuff.
So
let me get rid of it.
$3.52 bet on Rake and Bacon, which is a cool game to play.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
it's actually one of the first ones that were online and in the retail brick and mortar stuff.
Okay, that's probably where I played it.
This is the original Rake and Bacon, not the one that's the multi-platform kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes, we got another one of those.
I have no idea.
More multiple pig things.
Oh, okay.
But we've got $3.52 bet, $168,999.
Wow. That's great.
Heading back over to 4 Winds New Buffalo, our last one, we've got Mississippi Stud jackpot, $150,000. No word on the bet size.
Nice. Okay.
So congratulations to those 3 winners.
Absolutely.
Moving over from Michigan, we're going to Florida, where we have the Seminole Classic Casino again. We've been doing them a lot lately.
Yeah.
We've got another slot jackpot. We've got the Ultimate Firelink slot machine kicking out $106,117.40 on a $10 bet.
That's a good investment.
Yes. And the progressive jackpot has now been kicked back down to $100,000. So this was just
this was
very recent.
Recent,
yeah.
okay.
So congratulations there. That's it for the slot jackpots. What we're going to be doing now is the lottery jackpots. We've got a couple of those to go through. We're going to go from Florida up to Michigan. We're going back to Michigan
up
again.
to Michigan. Huh?
Michigan Lottery, we've got a Fantasy 5 draw game jackpot to talk about. This is another one where the strategy was using birthdays.
Oh, okay.
It was the only reason I picked this one out.
Seems like everyone does that,
Yeah. But the reason I picked this out was the way it was phrased in the press release that I got. First of all, it's $219,638. She's been playing these birthday numbers for quite some time, she said. So it's great that it finally hit for her. The fact that she said, I use select family members' birthdays. Don't know what that means.
Well, good job. Only my favorite family members. That's
I guess so. I don't know. I just don't know
well,
what
it might
select.
It might be immediate family kind of
Could
stuff.
be sons, granddaughters, grandkids,
that
sort of thing. But
some are like household family members kind of thing. So
could also be pets.
Okay.
Some people consider them parts of the family. So
absolutely. So.
Leaving Michigan, we're going over to the Massachusetts line. We're going to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, where we got a mega bucks jackpot to talk about. And this is a $6.13 million lottery jackpot.
Wow.
The reason I'm including this one, the press release started off with the winner came forward to claim their prize, but did so without releasing their name.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you can send your lawyer.
Massachusetts, you're not allowed to remain anonymous. You actually have to put your name out there.
Okay.
So what this is another instance of a trust coming in.
Absolutely. Send your lawyer to do it.
The Mega Stars Trust of Quincy. So congratulations to the Mega Stars Trust of Quincy, and they had their trustee come in and claim the check, and he actually was posing with the picture with it. So that was pretty cool.
I always say, if you win a big lottery, take some time to figure out how you're going to accept the money, whether to do it as a corporation, whether to do it as a trust. Figure it out and make some plans before you claim it, because and also make sure you see how long you have to claim your lottery.
Yeah.
So you gotta get things in order. Always talk to a lawyer, an accountant, a financial planner, and things like that.
Yes.
So
and
make your money grow.
$6.13 million jackpot. They chose the one-time lump sum, $4.1 million, and the store got a $50,000 bonus.
Nice, good.
Leaving Massachusetts, we're going down to North Carolina. We've got a $10 jumbo buck scratch-off jackpot that was kind of interesting in terms of the store clerks were watching this guy scratch off his ticket from behind the counter, and they started seeing the guy shaking and crying, and he found out that he won the $1 million jackpot.
Great.
So it was great to see the store staff watching. I guess they were just, wondering what was going on because they started seeing the guy shaking.
Wow.
And,
okay.
They were very happy.
I would first off be frightened. I didn't know
I
if
thought
he
he
was
was having an attack,
like some kind of medical issue or something like that. But no, it's a good thing that happens. So.
Yes.
Good.
And last story of the week, and we're going over to Arkansas.
All right. Have we had a lot of Arkansas lottery stuff?
No, because I don't ever remember saying this phrase, the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. That's the full name of the lottery.
Okay.
Never really saw scholarship in the name of a lottery corporation there. But this is an instance of, I think everyone's gone through this. This person lost her Powerball ticket.
Oh, okay.
And in Arkansas, they've got 180 days to claim it.
Okay.
Just in time, with a couple days to spare, she found the ticket.
Nice. So where was it, by the way?
Let's see. She misplaced the ticket and found it in her car or her vehicle. They said vehicle. I'm assuming car.
I would think a lot of lottery tickets are in cars. I mean, if you have a lost lottery ticket, always check your car, because usually, certainly online is becoming more and more popular, but most of the time people buy it out in a convenience store. They stop for their morning coffee and get a ticket. So, it's usually in a car somewhere.
But they found it in the vehicle, whatever vehicle it was. Could be a truck, could be whatever it is. Her husband took the ticket to one of the local retail shops, had it scanned, and it said, visit the ASL Claim Center.
Okay.
So the husband figured they only won about $500-600. They went there, and they had actually won $100,000.
Nice. Great.
So they can now buy all the tickets and lose them all they want now.
No, that's. I guess she knew.
Common.
I guess she knew the numbers. Sometimes when people lose a lottery ticket, I said, "Oh well, who cares?" And but I wonder if she knew the numbers that came out were her numbers. So
she may have gotten a notice. I mean, I don't know how the Arkansas lottery
I don't know
works.
how it works.
I mean, like I said, we haven't done an Arkansas lottery story, so this is the first time we're dealing with this.
I'm sure I've lost lottery tickets in my lifetime. I've just never paid attention. I never went searching for them. I've always stumbled upon, a lottery ticket. I'll check it, or if it's past due, I don't check it because I don't want to see what I missed or anything like that.
Well, this could also be a case of she was cleaning out her car, her truck, and came across the ticket and saw the date on it.
Oh, okay.
It may be one of those situations. I don't know, because it's very unclear in terms of whether or not she knew it was a winner or whether she knew to check it.
How you were saying it sounded like the numbers came out and she was looking for the ticket.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting from
maybe
the story being told to me. So,
But congratulations to the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery winner there. Congratulations to all the winners we talked about this week, and congratulations to all the winners out there. We only do $100,000 or more, so there are plenty of casino and lottery jackpot winners out there under $100,000 as well as what we do on the show. Please keep the press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and I'll be back next week with a whole new collection of lottery and casino jackpots.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time with House of Cards.
Drag a spotted chain across the desert plain. You build a house of cards around a lover's heart. Wild country in your head, gone dead.